I'm here for the show. I know we're late. Thank you, Jesse. I will let everybody know that you call this. Yes, late. Amy's on time. I love it. Yeah, Jesse too. He's on time. I'm saying that we have tech issues. It just happens. Uh-oh. Oops. Yeah, technology. It's that kind of thing. Is it a new moon, Amy? I don't know. I love that you guys are here. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Purple Hope Friday to everyone. Trevor's relogging in. We both had to relog in twice, and I had to make some tweaks in where we were sending this. So it's not in all the places, but it's in a lot of them. It is a new moon today. Is it a new moon? Yes. Well, there we go. Not surprised by any of that. It is also absolutely freezing. It says you can join anytime. I already joined and I already started. So I don't know where they are, but they are not in this live. This is the live we have set up. Yeah. I don't know. Is Mars still in retrograde? Retrograde. I don't even know what that means anymore. I am so lost and confused. It who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I need to tell Trevor wherever he is that we actually got this going and we're live. We are live. As I always like to say in our little promo. Yeah, I don't know. We're up and running. Hopefully Trevor can make his way back in. It is cold as whatever you want to call it cold as today. Yeah, it's a residual. Residual is definitely a thing. Is it are we always either in one or the other? Where Mercury's in retrograde. Can somebody fix that? Like, can we do something about that so that it stops happening? Because we're either in retrograde or we're in the residual of it, and then we're back in it again. And it's just this like perpetual motion of crazy. I don't know what to do about it. I'm over it. I'm like, you know what? Not going to affect me anymore. I am pushing forward. Like I said yesterday, I feel like I can move mountains these days, and I definitely am trying to. I've been out and about and doing stuff. Let's see, what did I do this morning? I had a 7 a.m. meeting, and then I left and I went to Home Depot, good old Home Depot, and I got sand and rock for my driveway because I think I'm the only one in the block in the neighborhood that doesn't have a cement driveway yet, and I need one. And so I have this patch where there's puddles and a can of puddles. So I filled stuff this morning. We got out there and filled things this morning to get things going. And then I did a little shopping and got stuff for my camper. And it's starting to look like a little home. So I'm not even going to figure it out. Thank you, Jesse. And I will not ask the chat. I should ask the chat. That would be a fun little experiment. So here's Amy with the dish on this whole thing. It happens 3 times a year. I think it's already happened 3 times this year. There are a few months with no mercury effects. All I think of is a thermometer that has mercury in it. I'm like, can we just get rid of? I don't know where Trevor is. Amy, he was here, then he left because he was having a hard time, and then I got this thing rocking and rolling, and he hasn't come back yet. So I sent him a text. I'll be darned if I know where he's at. It is that kind of day. It is frozen here. It's been 40 something all day, and I'm over it. I would like, can I just get some 70s, just like nice low 70s without a lot of, without the whole humidity thing. I don't know if I'm asking for too much. I don't think I am. I honestly think I'm doing okay. So, but he's here now. He's made it. There's no
Hello.
picture. We just have to pretend we know what he looks like. We remember. Who is this? Excuse me. Hello. Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Pardon me?
I said, hello. Who are you? And what are you doing here?
Am I in the right place?
Of course you're in the right place.
That's good. All right. Well,
Keep
I
up,
was just
Trevor,
wondering,
keep up.
who's this Trevor guy that Trevor is asking where he is? Why is Trevor asking where Trevor is?
Exactly.
I, I saw that it popped up and started working, and I was like, thank God, miracles. And so I ran
Miracles.
to the bathroom super fast because I
Because that makes sense.
really needed to go. I
I
thought
hear
about
you.
messaging you and saying that I was on the toilet, but I felt like that would be inappropriate to do on live. So,
Yeah, it
but
would.
now I can tell you that I thought about it, so that's probably just as bad. What up, Jesse?
They're
I
all
feel
here.
like I feel like it's been a solid couple of days since we heard like a Jesse or Amy special,
I
like in terms
know.
of like it's. I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all. I just feel like usually when there's silence, it means people are like
Yeah,
their brains are working. You know what I'm saying?
absolutely.
Like silence is deadly or something
Silence
like
is
that.
deadly. And you're having camera issues?
Oh no, not really. I just didn't want to turn it on.
Oh, there we go. I just got a really cool text, so I'm going to read that because
Oh,
it's one you ever get a text from somebody and you're like, "I cannot wait to read this."
oh, no,
Sometimes. Okay.
no, that's not true. There are a few people that I wait for text from, and I do wait for text sometimes, but not very often.
Okay.
I'm not a text focused person. Mr. Jesse says, "Yeah, been busy, dude. I can't wait to talk to you again. We got to get another time on the books there, Mr. Jesse, and Miss Amy. I see that we're talking about Mercury being in retrograde again. I
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't know I had heard of Mercury in retrograde before the pandemic, but I swear to you that people talk more about astrology now than ever before. And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. It's just an observation. I think that post COVID we needed more. It's fair. How you doing over there? Everything doing all right on the Texas?
I am making an introduction. I was just
Yeah.
given a group text and I want to bring in oh, I just made a new one.
Mikkel wants in the show. All right, I'm
Yeah.
on it. I don't think that's how he spells his name, Scoob, but I'm definitely gonna go grab him. I'm just playing with you, man. You probably know. I'm just being silly.
Yes.
Mikkel.
It's
You're making an
it's I,
introduction. Things are good though.
yeah, it's from our meetings this week.
Oh,
It's a
sick.
show. There's a big concert happening in Miami July 1st and 2nd. And so we are
Oh.
getting everybody in the loop for that and I am excited for that. I like have do you go to concerts a lot? Do you go to festivals ever? Is that your kind of jam
We've
or
never been festival people.
okay.
However, given the nature of what I do now, I would very much like to go to festivals because
Yeah.
I'm interested to be able to see lots of acts in one place, and because over the past couple of years with this business thing, I've just been a part of so many what I call subcultures. So I'd love to be part of the
Mhm.
festival subculture. I love that type of environment.
I agree.
Are
I
you?
love I do I like them a bit. It can get old for me really quickly with all the people and the waiting in line thing, and then it usually gets muddy, at least if it's here. So, but I do oh my, get that sound.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Oh, isn't that great though?
Yes.
So you're hearing that through the USB mic, which is impressive, and it's just a yellow finch, but
Very vocal.
it's usually not this close, right? It's usually around somewhere. I hear them, but yeah, I'm feeling pretty lucky today because they actually flew down in the garden a moment ago.
Yeah.
And anytime a bird feels comfortable in my garden, I feel like that's a big dub for Trevor.
There we go.
The surrogate gardener gets stoked.
There we go. Yeah. I was going to say when we were talking about festivals, the reason I asked is because we are doing new music. We're getting into the music world deeper and deeper as we go every
New
single day.
music.
And it's so exciting to me. And I thought, It'd be really great not only for Venus to be performing at festivals, because that would be incredible, but it'd be fun if we had creators in that area that we could get passes to that said festival, whatever festival it is, and they could get in and give us a different perspective on it. Like
Well,
maybe they want
they
to
could give us
interview.
numerous perspectives on it.
Oh my gosh, really? You didn't think I was going to go there? Yes, that's what I mean.
No,
I
I
think
think
that'd be
that would be
really
cool.
cool. And so
It
I'd
would
like
probably
to.
be really helpful to the artist too. I don't know if you were thinking about it
Exact.
that way, but I think it would
Yes.
actually help the artist, because then if, like, say they were nearby to Tiffany and Tiffany was down to like go have a conversation with them,
She
maybe
would be.
you know what I'm saying? Like, she
Mhm.
would have the proper equipment to be helpful in
There,
that
now
way.
I can see better again. All right.
Um,
Yeah, I thought it would be really cool. I was going to suggest that last night, but I got pulled out of a meeting for family
yeah,
stuff once again,
absolutely.
and I didn't get a chance to drop that one. But I thought that would be really cool to get like, because we'll have the hookups, and so they could do a little interview, and they could cover it and talk about the festival and talk about the artists, and it'd be a lot of fun. So there's a
They
lot
could
of
do
stuff.
show swaps. I mean, I think
Mhm.
I'm going to continue to push our artists like to follow Venus's footsteps in the sense, and really flex. I'm always talking about it. We got to own our channels. If we're going to have a brand, own your channel as long as you can.
Yep.
So, in that way, have a bigger brand, have more channels, and do swaps with your partners. Say, hey, like, if you'll sponsor me, like, I'll come on your show, you come on my, like, there's all those sorts of different things that give you a little bit of
Hmm.
leverage. So I'm excited for all those things, because they, like, Venus is going to meet people at those festivals inevitably that she wants to talk to more, and I think having
Yep.
this show is such an easy reason to say, hey, would you like to stop by the show sometime? And then it
Hmm.
gives you both like this professional atmosphere to be closer. Like, I don't necessarily need to be your best friend, but we can be really good business friends. I think this makes sense. So I think the festivals will be great for that. Collaborate. It'll be like Creator Lab on the ground, I think, at
Yep.
festivals. Ooh, I always thought we were going to run a con, but I never liked running a con. Now we can run a festival. I think that you're brilliant like that.
Yeah.
Creator Fest.
Creator
That sounds
Fest.
so much more fun than
That does
literally
sound.
any other iteration of even it's better than Retreat. Creator
It
Fest.
is. Creator Fest.
It's definitely in the desert, right? And there's definitely like
I
it's
don't know
got to look
about
a
the
little like Burning
desert. As
Man.
long I we'll see. I would love a beach or something, but maybe not desert. I'm more of a
So
water person.
what festival do you have in mind for yourself or for Venus? Do you know which one is first for her, or have you seen others since we spoke last night?
I haven't seen other ones. I know there's a really good one tonight in Atlanta. So if anyone's out that way, my new friend
Oh,
Phoenix is doing a Black Music Honors
oh,
festival tonight. So that's super
can you
cool.
tell us the name of it so we could look it up, and then I'll
Yeah,
share screen?
yes, let me grab it for you off my
Thanks.
phone because I just got the information on it.
Scoob
It
Fest, more
is
Scoob.
Black Music Honors in Atlanta, Georgia tonight. That is what it's called. She is managing it. So,
Oh, yo, I wonder. She probably knows this, but maybe not. Today is also Malcolm X Day. It's his birthday.
oh, okay.
It should be his 90, not would, it should be his 97th birthday. But somebody fucking shot him while he was talking to people in a town hall meeting, because
Yep.
that was a cool thing to fucking do. Pardon my French. I don't owe Scoob any for that one, but any further I will.
Okay.
Anyways, that's amazing. I wonder if it's going to be a similar celebration, because if it's not this year, then I'm absolutely going to try to do that with them next year and partner them with the Shabbat Center, because I think the Shabbat Center is looking for people to partner with too, which is
Good. Yeah.
who does all Malcolm stuff. Sorry, I was like, immediately I was
No,
like,
it's
oh,
good.
this
Oh, oh,
would
oh,
totally be something
oh,
that Malcolm would want to go to
oh,
if he was
yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That makes me so happy that this exists. This is a beautiful website. This is very well done. I like how legit it works. I would absolutely have this web
Would
designer
you
make
like to
our
share?
awards page. Oh yeah, sorry.
Please
I'm
share
like,
so we can see what you're talking about. That would be awesome. Because I believe that it's amazing, but it could be the orange in your hair today.
oh, thank you. It's, it was real funny, but then I gassed out Laura. I realized that it smelled kind of bad in the house from all the air.
Oh, man.
All right, you can see this?
Wow. Yeah, that's
Okay.
stellar.
it's just it is a website's a website is a website, but there are websites still in 2023, including mine sometimes, that aren't this well done. And this is a really, just out of the gate, I think it's important to establish legitimacy with what your brand is
Mm-hmm.
by having at least an acceptable website. But this one is really, it seems fitting to what their theme is. Obviously,
Yep.
like everything is on brand in this scroller.
Yes,
It's like really, really well done. I like it a
it is
lot. Every single one says Black
really.
Music Awards, and then this one here, ooh, so good. This image.
Yeah.
I want these people. To the person who made that image, I want to make ours for us. That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
Missy Elliott's gonna be there, dude.
Wow.
She's. I think that generation of artists, like specifically in hip hop, like the Missy Elliott, Kim
I
people, like
love
I
Missy
feel like
Elliott.
they're gonna be making some hardcore comebacks. Look at her hair in that picture. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
I like that she calls her a music innovator.
Yep.
Like the icon is
It's true.
fine. They put icon at the end of everybody's. Cool.
Yeah.
I don't know who that fella is, but I'll have to check
Jeffrey
him out.
Osborne. Mm-hmm.
I don't like. I don't know many people of any type that are famous. It's just like not where I hang out. Ironically.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Sorry. I'm getting lost in this page. What the hell is it? Do you know?
That's for that's. Oh,
Sorry. I didn't know that was going to come on through.
that's okay.
You have to subscribe.
It's super cool.
Do you know what it is? Like, what are we getting into here?
Oh, it does tell you if you scroll down. It will tell you because they did show
So
that.
that's I'm gonna pop this over to you, and if you could get that into like the thing with the label or whatever, please, from the '80s. Yeah, it looks that way, Miss Amy.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the annual Black Music Awards, and the event information says the eighth annual Black Music Awards returns to Atlanta with co-hosts Latoya Luckett and comedian DeRay Davis. I don't know these people at all, so I need to look them up. Oh, and definitely know my face. I don't know shit for names. Oh, where do I know this person from? Destiny's Child. All right, there we go. I was like, I
There you
know,
go.
and the eyes. I know the eyes. But that would have been a minute ago too. All right, so
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna have Missy Elliott, SWV. I don't know Jeffrey Osborne, Robin Thicke. I don't know.
Robin Thicke.
See, yeah, they got an interesting lineup, but this is a good lineup because my presumption is also that this is maybe a newer thing. You know, it's the eighth annual,
Yeah.
so it's I would imagine just having Missy Elliott there, the amount of overhead and oversight and organization and the amount of class that you would want to have just by her showing up, by one of her
Mm-hmm.
showing up, you know, let alone like a bunch of people that are that caliber. Like that would be a massive event
Yeah.
to
So this
understand.
is
You're
this. So
saying,
this website is the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center, which is why you're
oh yeah,
seeing other dates that are other things that
there
are
we go,
playing. Yeah. There we go.
there we go. We'll get her back to here. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
It's okay.
So, what else should we know about this?
That our new friend Phoenix is the manager of it and is putting this all together. It's pretty dope.
Pretty dope. You
Mm-hmm.
said her name is Phoenix.
Yes.
Oh yeah, you guys aren't moving with me, are you?
Nope. We are not. We are still
We can take
here.
we can take that off. That's all good. So that's cool though. We're able to perfect get that in the chat. So check that out. It looks like it's going to be pretty neat. Um, I think it's just coincidental that it's not MLK Day. It's Malcolm X Day. Um, cool. Yeah, I'll have
Yep.
to look more into Phoenix. I haven't found Phoenix yet, but that's super duper cool.
They may not
Where
put
would we?
her in the forefront of that just because she's.
Yeah, I was just wondering, just more. That's an interesting human to have met. So, do you mind, since we are on that specific topic, I want to talk a little bit about just like tools and resources that we encountered this week. Thanks to Leave, Amy, and Scoob, and anybody else is here with. I feel like that meeting was pretty powerful, and I wanted to just get that across, and then maybe have you reiterate that a little bit of the importance of getting into networking groups that are within the areas you're interested in. I would say
Mm-hmm.
don't just get involved in groups because it seems. I mean, you totally can. I'm not trying to discourage that, but if you're trying to make the most of that time, find groups that have similar weird niches as you. And then I
Exactly.
guess our experience is walk in and just show your true colors right away. And then if,
Mm-hmm.
people will either like you for it or they won't. But you'll know where you fit in the group really quickly. And we've been very lucky to meet a couple of groups that have been hella super duper nice to us. And
Really
like
nice.
full of really smart, cool people too.
It's
Like Alex.
amazing.
Like who's
Blown
Alex?
away. And the thing that's so nice about it is Alex is
Yeah.
actually in our Creator Lab. So I
Danny
was
keeps saying that, but he hasn't been active, so I don't know what to
he
think.
hasn't been active, but I'm drawing him back in. People sign up and then they forget and they can't get in or they don't see things. And
It is
I'm
funny
just
though.
gonna
It's funny.
make sure that I can,
It
you
it
know,
makes sense because he solicited me for something. Like his message to me was the first that I knew of him.
yeah.
Yeah, so it makes sense that he would have gotten us there.
Hmm.
What do you think about that meeting? And what do you think about the meetings that we've attended the last couple of weeks when it comes to like the Creator Project 1.0 and that one, and how it could relate to, like I know this was a brainchild of mine, but with the media leadership concept, it's really just an extrapolation of what we were doing at Fuzzy. And I wonder if you see, because I think about it in my head, but we haven't had a chance to talk. So I wondered if you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit of insight of what you're seeing in these sort of niche down media type groups, and what you're like, how you're processing what that means to the industry and to us and just in general, because I find them fascinating, but I haven't really gotten a chance to hear your deep take on it. If you have.
Well, it's like I don't know, I always go to like movies or stories or books that I've read, and it reminds me of there's a rumbling, I guess is the word I want to use. It's a rumbling. So we've had this explosion in new podcasters. There's so many new podcasters that are coming out. They're finding this like an amazing way to get their message out and do different things at all different levels and all different niches and all different kinds of stuff. But it's we're starting to see the fall of some of the majors that have always been in our lives that we grew up with, that we've known all along, whether it's MTV going down or people getting fired at major stations. And it just feels like the ground is shaky where they're at. And here we are, the small but strong population of indie creators, and our noise is getting louder. There is a rumbling, there is a cohesion that is coming together of people. Yeah, exactly. And so I feel like it's inevitable that we're going to see things that are just going to start propelling it farther ahead and in a more um organized way. There it seems as though we're understanding our individual power with our voice and our podcast or our creative, whatever our creative outlet is, to whatever our content creation is. But there's this knowing of we are effective and we are getting out there and we are building, and then we're linking arms. We're so quick to link arms because it is in our nature. It is who we are as a group. And so that's how we're seeing these new groups of people come together that are at a heightened level of it, but are understanding the depth of how every creator matters in that, and how it's a new movement of things. It's an exciting time to be, because it is the beginning of that. You can feel it. It's palpable what is happening, and I'm seeing it in these different little groups that we're getting into, some are not so little, but like big players, small player, like all around, all across the board. we're going to be a powerful, we are, but we're going to be an even more powerful force.
You know, do you mind if I ask a follow up question? Because
Go ahead.
I've like oftentimes I believe all the things that you're saying, and I think about where you ended it is very similar to where I start to end it too in my head with the story.
Mm-hmm.
So like this is 100% me. This was not scripted at all. And Veronica, by the way, with Purple It Up is probably going to be by. So we'll talk a little bit more about Purple It Up
Mm-hmm.
here in a few minutes, so we can raise awareness on domestic violence. So we'll be talking about that still. Um, when you said the very last piece, it's something that I feel in my heart. I think a lot of us at NumoSpect and in our greater orb feel that there is something about what we are doing that is powerful. I think that
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the way that a lot of us would describe it. And I think there are times where I feel like I start to grasp it, and then there are times where it feels like, and not even in an imposter way, just in a truth way. It seems like in a truth, black and white, objective, metric-y sort of way, like it's like I don't know where we fit. So I guess I'm posing the question is, if you were to extrapolate out a year, let's just go 6 months to a year, because it's so hard to see forward right now. I think it's almost impossible to see past 6 months. Is that fair? So maybe we go 6 months.
Yeah.
What do you think our role in those communities is? Are we going to just be a member of the group? Are we going to have our own group, Illuminati group, which
We're
is absolutely
leaders.
my goal?
I think we're
What does
leaders, and
that mean for us?
I think that it means, I think that it means it's an org. Well, we're coming at it because of Fuzzy and because of the direction that we started long before we just knew that we knew that we wanted to talk about certain issues. We knew that we wanted to look at things more than just, we all have our own things to talk about. We all have our own podcasts, or we all have our own, YouTube channels, or whatever it is.
Get beyond the TED
And
Talk.
I think that we all, yeah, now you interrupt my thought and I can forget things. That's what happens.
Won't do it.
But we knew about it back then. And so it was just a natural force for us to move into like a leadership council idea that you came up with, which was brilliant, so that we want to go someplace with it. We want to make our voice, we want to amplify our voices, and we do that as a collective, as a group together. And also make sure that as that group, the leaders of not, I don't want to call us the leaders, but like in our area of things, and what we want to accomplish is make sure that we're guiding it and moving it in the ways that we feel are at least are asking the right questions and are moving us in the right conversations. I don't know if we
Mm.
want to say in our direction what we want, what specific to us, but as a
Yeah, I heard that
collective, as
too.
a group, it's
Mhm.
more of, let's, as we did with Fuzzy, legal, social, ethical, get the conversation started, get them asking questions. Once we like get that out there, and then we leave it to other people to kind of continue that conversation and to ask questions. And that's how we make changes, because we don't just go take what's stuffed at us, and we like ask the question. So I think it's getting that, the moving on would be to really bring indie creators to the forefront, where we do things a little differently, we look at things differently, because we don't, none of us really want to be Fox or CNN or ABC or all of that. We want to do,
We would like some of their success, but yeah. No.
right, but we want to do it where it's more transparent, and it's supports a wider range of people that don't get a
Mhm.
lot of support. And so and not make it, I feel like sometimes they just do a certain amount just so that they can look good, and it's not really their true hearts. And we come at it with a truer heart of, this is what we feel the world needs. And so I don't know, I think it's the start of a wave that'll start a movement that'll start making indie creators at the forefront, and in the first place that you go over, you know what we have now, which is network. And all that, like the big
But
league.
yeah, I appreciate. I again agree with everything you're saying. Whoops, it inspired a thought, so now I need to write it down, but I don't have a pen, so I'm in a bit of a conundrum over here.
I was gonna
But
say I don't have one either. I would pass it to you, but I
you pass over.
yeah.
um, yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be super cool. I hope that we're in the conversation. I still struggle with where we fit because I agree. I agree with everything you said, and still am like I I don't think it's
You're gonna
impossible.
you're gonna kill me, but I have to step out for a minute.
Oh yeah, that's fine. You're not gonna kill
I'll
me.
be back. Hang on.
Yeah, it's no worries. So, um, cool. I was gonna get the other camera fired up anyway, but it's not working. So let's get that fired up. But yeah, the place we fit, I just don't know. Sometimes I think it's cool to be even in the conversations of leadership in any at any level. So I hesitate sometimes a little bit to well, you guys know Amy and Scoob that sometimes I don't do a good job keeping it in check, but I truly do want to keep things between the lines of like right and wrong. Um, and I think that maybe that's a piece that's different about us, but I don't. I just it makes me confused that that would be so unique in this. I don't think it's so unique. I think it's so unique maybe in the media industry. So maybe that's what it is. Um, but I guess I just don't know. Sometimes I look around and I go, I don't know how we get make your own waves. Yeah, I don't know where we fit in the conversation, but I'm definitely enjoying the ride. Just to share a little bit about what that ride looks like, since we have a second to talk about it, I'll be very brief. It looks a lot like what Bree described, where people are supportive of what we're doing. We don't always know exactly what that means. That's not a new thing. We're still gauging where we fit, so it's inherently like it's going to be tough for other people to know where we fit as well. um so some of the times when we don't know exactly where we fit, it like sort of makes sense. So one of the things I've been working really hard to do, kind of in recognition of the fact that it is just difficult to pin down, and it does change day to day, because I want us to be flexible. I want to personally, and I want the organization, us as a whole, and I want media as a whole, and I want podcasts and social media. I want things that have the ability to stay current and safe, to stay current and safe. I mean, it's like not super rocket sciencey. It's just like we have a shit ton of information and access, in security. Like we have the things we need in a lot of cases to regulate and to govern the things that we are concerned about, and we actively choose not to engage with them. So one of the ways I want to do that internally at NumoSpec, take on those questions of what are we, in the same way that we could ask that about like a humanity, I suppose, or a society, is like to ask what are we as NumoSpec, and then to just answer that question. So I would love it if any of us, I need to continue doing it. I already missed one day, but if each of you wouldn't mind submitting to us, either recorded or just pop it on the socials, either one is fine. Just a little clip that, I mean, I think under a minute is great, ideally, as short as you want it to be, but NumoSpect is. Like, start your phrase that NumoSpect media is, or NumoSpect is, or NumoSpect is to me. To like that's what I've been doing in my head. So I would encourage anyone that feels like they have a bead on what it is to them, or has a understanding, some concept of what it is don't overthink it. Just go with what your heart and your gut feels, and then just share that whenever you think about it, even if it's just privately with me or Bree or us or the group. I think that's really cool and really appreciated and really fine. I think it helps us a lot. I think it's worth doing that with your own brands and businesses too. It's like what is, and then each day just, or each week, continue to knocked out my camera. That makes sense. To scratch out a little more. I hit the desk and the stupid thing won't turn on now. Um, each day carve out a deeper understanding of the thing you do. And even if it's not daily, weekly, just keep on digging. I would say don't ever, I guess some advice, not that anybody asked necessarily, but some advice in terms of how we've been able to make, I think, this company deep is what I would call it, rather than like wide and flashy. I think we are deep. And one of the ways that we've been able to accomplish that is by not being complacent with who we are and who we feel we want to be and who we feel we need to be. Um, and doing our best, I would say also to not be afraid of when that means change. So, uh, by examining that more often about your brand and business, I think you give yourself a real chance to keep up. And I don't mean keep up with your neighbors, and I don't mean keep up with the competition. I mean keep up with the pace of society. You don't have to be beholden to taking care of other people. I think to also recognize that things change, that things move forward. That doesn't make it, something we should shy away from, but we should acknowledge it. I think that things are going to move very quickly. So keep doing that for yourself, for your business, for your brand, for your family. What is my family? I mean, just ask the question and then also answer it, and then check that with other people. I think it's a good, easy gauge. It's an easy assessment. We get assessed in so many places in our life, and we choose not to do things like assess our own creativity, assess our own family relations, or just how we feel about it. Like, I think it's okay to give yourself some numbers to aim for, because then you can make some goals to aim for. All of those things are important because we have metrics at work, we have metrics at our jobs, we have metrics at our businesses that are important. And all of those aren't patient with us most of the time. And I think our family, as much as we can, given the different circumstances in our lives, I think our families and friends, and the people that care about us and the people we care about, really should get the same amount of metric consideration that we give a business. Like, why not? Like, why not just make it simple? Like, am I on a 10 or am I rolling a 1 in this relationship? Because I need to get back to it if it's floating below where I want it to be. It's kind of an odd way to look at it, I suppose, maybe. What do y'all think? How do you all gauge the quality of what you're putting in and what you're getting out? Like, do you look at it that way? Do you look at it as just you go along and it's convenient? I look at friendships as an exchange of support. I think probably like foundationally, it's an exchange of support. And I would say I do have some expectation that my friends will support me. And I feel like they have some expectation that I will support them. And I think that's an exchange with friendship. And I know maybe somebody's going to say that that's very transactional, but we are transactional humans in this country, at least. It's like, doesn't mean we can't also love the person, right? I don't think it's bad to be transactional when it's appropriate. You can be transactional with things that aren't money. You can be transactional with things that aren't metal and wood. You can be transactional with questions, with feelings, with ideas. I love being transactional with ideas. That's actually one of my favorite things. I don't know if I ever thought about it in those terms of transactional with an idea, but I love to idea share. So I take on so many meetings is because I always have new ideas coming out of meetings. What ideas do you have? Do you get in those? Do you leave your interviews with people different than you walked in? Amy, Bree, Scoob, I know all of you do a ton of interviews. You're very experienced interviews at this point. What are any reflections that you have? Maybe, I mean, it is Celebration and Hope Friday, but I'm kind of curious about, like, if you had a statement that overviewed your time as a podcaster, as a media contributor, because yes, you are podcasters, Amy and Scoob and others who might do podcasts primarily, but you also have a social media. You have Instagram, you have your TikToks, you have your Twitters, you have your LinkedIns, you have all that stuff. So you're a creator, you're a media creator. I would say more so than you are a podcaster. Respectfully to podcast, you're more than just a podcaster. You're a business person. That's what it means to be a business person, is to have a thing and then peddle a thing. You're peddling your podcast. You're a business person. Yeah, Jesse says we exchange ideas all the time. 100%. What would Jesse? What do you think you've taken away most from interviewing people? here's maybe a more simple way to ask this question, or a different version of it. Have you learned more about yourself or more about humanity through your podcasting? Have you learned more about yourself or more about society as a whole through your role as an interviewer, or even in your business or in your life? Um, that's actually interesting too. Like, there's a balance. What are you learning more about? Other people or yourself? Anyways, Jesse says a blueprint to help others. Yeah, that's what you took away. I meant like, how did it help you? You know what I'm saying? I realized that, yeah, you, uh, yeah, learned about yourself mostly. That's what I probably figured. Yeah, a blueprint to help others, but what did you get out of it yourself? That's important to acknowledge. We get things out of it ourselves. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. It's a poor use of time. um, I mean, it doesn't always have to be a poor use of time to do something that other people don't think is worthwhile. But if you think it's worthwhile, then I don't think you need to explain that. So, hey, Trev, still waiting, watching here. What are you waiting for? Veronica says she's watching and waiting. So let me check my texts and find out what she's doing. Oh, goodness. Okay. She says that it won't let her in. So let's go ahead and see if we can fix that. So we can let our purple it up friend Veronica into the room. While we are getting this squared up, Veronica, I'm getting the link right now to send it over your way. Hopefully it works this time. Scoob, Amy, what do y'all got going on this weekend? Are you doing a lot of work this weekend? Do you have some good family time scheduled? Do you, yeah, like what's going on? Uh-oh. Sorry about that, y'all. That's because I was getting the link for Veronica. Yeah, I would love to know what you're doing this weekend. I sent it to you, Veronica. I saw that I have the capability to help. Yeah, a ton of 100%. Yeah, I mean, like, interestingly, Jesse, I think just to keep perspective, one of the things that you bring to your interviews is consistency. So one of the things I'd like to point out that's also really helpful about the process of becoming an interview is that you learn process around humans. And that's not something that we're really taught. It's something I was taught because I got lucky in terms of some degree choices in college, but I don't think most of us are taught to sit across from another human being and ask a bunch of questions. So the truth is that, like, if you're a good interviewer, like, you can really do some cool stuff in a short amount of time with someone. And then when you stick a process with it and repeat it and then tweak the process and make the process more effective and more efficient and more serving, all of those things will improve along the way, almost inevitably. So yeah, you get really good at that very quickly, and that gives you the way to know oftentimes what people need. In my experience, at least in consulting, being able to ask those questions doesn't mean that I necessarily am able to help someone, but it does often tell me where I can support them in their very next step, even if that's as simple as saying, like, this is not my purview, or I see that this exists. Like, good luck with that. We can talk about it some more if you want to. What's going on over here? Got another coaching? Oh yeah, nice. Scoop says he's got another coaching and taking your advice and working on something. Oh, all right, cool. I figured that since it was silent, that we were probably busy at work over there. I can't wait to hear about it. Amy says, all over the place this weekend, picking up the slack from last weekend. I'm going to attempt Scoop's suggestion. What's Scoop's suggestion? Scoop's suggestion was Scoop Fest. So you'll have to let me know what Scoop suggested. But yeah, Amy says she's got some stuff going on. We're still waiting. No luck with Veronica yet, so that kind of stinks. But yeah, kind of might have to be what it is. Let's spend the last few minutes then, since Veronica hasn't made it in, and that's okay. Let's talk about Purple It Up. So QR code for jam jars. Oh yeah. Good call. let's talk about Purple It Up. So those of you who know Veronica, which is like Amy and Scoob, I think you probably both met Veronica. Again, I'm going to throw it to you and ask you, what have you learned from Veronica so far? I feel that the Purple It Up mission, that is, don't drop the ball on domestic violence, like raise awareness about domestic violence, say the words domestic violence so that people can feel comfortable if they need help. And when you say the words that are uncomfortable, which is anything, I think is what I've learned, that immediately creates an environment that a person might be more likely to reach out to you because I mean, I guess she'd be able to speak to it, but I would assume because you've immediately just explained almost that you understand that it exists and that you acknowledge it and that you're not afraid of it. So I think that probably immediately creates a nice safer barrier for someone to possibly talk to you. And that's really what the Purple It Up mission is about, to start. I mean, there's definitely ways that you can donate to Veronica's organization. So if you scan the QR code that's up right now, so to do that, you just take out your phone, super easy, and you just scan that little code there on the screen. It pops me over to Veronica's website. Veronica has a very nice website. She has all sorts of ways you can support her. But to start, because money is not always the right start for someone, especially when you haven't met them. It's a very good cause, and I would strongly encourage you to check it out. But her mission is to find, I think if I were to synthesize it, she has a couple of primary goals. Her overarching goals are to raise awareness, and I think vision is to reduce the amount of domestic violence in the world, like very simply. And there's a variety of ways she goes about that. So I'm actually happy that I don't have to keep trying to explain all that perfectly myself. What's up, boss?
Hey!
How are you?
Good.
Purple. Yeah, you look like you're feeling all the you feel like you're looking all the purple vibes today. Have you had an amazing week? What's going on?
Oh, yes. I'm definitely making strides. I'm getting closer and closer, ramping up people to have their businesses to purple it up in the month of October. This is go time for anybody, everybody that wants to get in to do the challenge and be ready for October. I'm rallying around, bringing people right to our Purple Up Live every Friday. It's looking pretty interesting because the mayor definitely trying to get that directive. Lakeland mayor already did the challenge, challenging our mayor. So more challenges, more challenge alert. And this will be Purple Up Live, Hope Friday, the Circle Up of Champions coming together. So we definitely need to have a post out and prep because I'm no longer doing nothing on Friday morning. That's just it.
I mean, other than well, that's amazing.
I was sitting and waiting on the other side. I don't know. The link just had me. It said wait.
Yeah.
So
it's. I don't know why it didn't work because the truth is we had some link issues, but it shouldn't have changed what you needed. So I sent you the one that I created, and then the one I created was being glitchy. So we went in and we backed out, but we didn't change anything. So, like, I don't know what it is. I'm sorry. It's logistically I love the program we use, Restream, but it doesn't allow for scheduling ahead, and it just I mean, it does. It does. It's just very clunky to do. So, and it's not integrated. There's a lot of things that workflow wise that I need to improve on so that doesn't happen. But I was just getting into like the importance. That's, to me, that's always how I sort of like synthesize it. If I was going to synthesize it to a person of the message is like, yes, they could donate and they could buy things and they could have you on their shows and all the promotions, all the ways to directly help you and like through you is extremely helpful to you. But then there's also the piece that is this more broad movement, as I understand it. And the more broad movement is to sort of piggyback off of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is in October, and then be able to say, don't just support pink, but also support purple. So what we're trying to do is get enough people to know about that so that people start asking questions about it when we get there, I think. But the big point is to get more people talking about it, so there's more safe spaces for people to go. Because it seems to me like the more locker rooms, the more schools, the more households, the more friends' households, the more times that people would be open to talk about domestic violence, it seems like the more spaces that someone in need would feel like they had to run. Is that an accurate assessment of like a perfect outcome?
That is a very on point assessment of what needs to be happening in every space. And just as you were talking, it's just a high five, man. How many seconds does it take to high five and activate a high five? You don't think about that's the action that we need. And COVID has done wonderful things as far as, the light side, the seriousness of how quick awareness, what happens when you are aware. Everybody's masking. When somebody's coughing, if they wasn't masking, they're running to a mask. If you're in a group of people and never seen that, it's the funniest thing. We want people to think and keep it simple and fun. And so our challenge and getting it in front of every community, getting it out there, we do the marketing support. If you look at how COVID and the masking happened, it was a lot of people even making masks, and just that kind of momentum. That's what we're going into this week looking at doing. Special announcement, Chris and Katie, they're going to be hosting on their website merch for a cause. So all the shirts that Purple Up does for the cause, it will also be on their website. And feel free if you would like to join in on merch for a cause. That's another way. So that is a link. It links back where
how do we? Tell me if I was a business, how I would set that up on my web. Is it set up on my web page?
Well, it's going to be set. It's going to be a linkable shared page. Like we can actually customize your store. If you already have a store, we can customize it so you can say that you're standing up with Purple Up and you're a part of the Merch for Cause, raising support and awareness for Purple Up for domestic violence awareness. So that's a linkable thing. There's 3 different options: in-house, outsource, and then customize. We can do that with the community partner Connects Multimedia is behind supporting that initiative, as well as all the graphic designs and stuff that you see that Purple Up has. The website purpleup.org, that's Connects Multimedia, our community partner, having our back and getting us visual and creating awareness. So that's another business awareness challenge that people are taking on Merch for a Cause. So if you have something you want more about that, we'll definitely have a Zoom call to post out on some of the things that are upcoming and future guests as well. And people take it on the challenge and not dropping the ball like you and Bree. I look Friday's another light of freedom, Freedom Friday of whatever happens in our life. That's giving a real view what it's like getting someone safe. So don't be alarmed about the things that come up. We overcame. We're here. We're alive, and we are purpling it up. And I spoke to Amy about her shirts, and it's great. Monday they also had their shirts to them, and
nice.
There's some interesting guests that are going to be ready to come on, and I'm excited about that because more and more it's building that community, building that awareness, and that is like our huddle up for champions. And it feels good getting updated, getting ready for the week. But yeah, the light is on to make October pink and purple. So.
I know I'm not supposed to curse, but hell yeah, I'm so excited. I can see it. I for the first time, I think this week, because we're so close to June, like I feel June creeping so hard, which is terrible because we're just halfway. But I think the fact that we're in May and June, and like it's like a slow moving wave, right? That's what I hear from you each week, is that there's a little more momentum. It's not
And we
like
talk
this.
about that.
It's not. Yeah, it's not like this cruise ship went by and it flipped
Okay,
over
did
the
you hit your
boat. It's
mic?
just
I
like,
can't hear you.
oh, is it back now? Uh-oh, that's you, because it says mine is working.
Oh, someone's calling
How
Sorry,
about now?
me. I was like, no! But someone's calling me. I don't know why that's happening.
Well, no worries. You're a wanted person, but I am very stoked because I can see the wave building, and it feels like it's definitely going in a positive direction. I can't wait to meet people, and the fact that like when you said that, it inspired a thought of how do we overcome these link issues. So I think what I'm going to do is work to get it so we can pre-schedule because I've learned some new tactics, so I can pre-schedule you through Zoom on an ongoing calendar invite, and that way you would be able to invite anybody you wanted just via any week. You just throw their name on the week they're going to come, and that way they would have the link through there, and then I'll do what I need to do to make it work to get out to everywhere. But I think just going through Zoom for that in particular. And the other thing, Veronica, that would help do to facilitate potentially is as you get more, we have a way bigger max on how many people we can fit in a space over on Zoom. We can get like 90 people into one meeting over there. And if it gets more, we could upgrade kind of thing. So this platform has a limit. So I think maybe that's something we challenge ourselves to do as we just navigate what that looks like between now and the fall. But maybe we could try to have more and more people so that when we got to one of the days in fall, it would be like we have a number. Maybe it's 25, but if we had 25 people on a call and they were all saying like, I took the Purple It Up challenge in 2022 or 2023, excuse me. I took the challenge in 2023 and I'm going to carry the ball through the end of this year.
There are people that took the challenge in 2022 that were circling back, going back there, and they're coming up, and we want people to represent when and where, when it happened for them, and what are we doing now? And the next step. Not drop the ball and do an activation. Yep.
Throw me the ball. We'll have to get
some coming. Yeah, we got some technical people then.
we definitely need to get that hooked up. That would be sweet. That's funny. Bree said she's not going to have time to join us. She's doing all sorts of things. Have you talked to her this week at all?
I didn't get it. She's texted me, but we didn't get a chance to have her. No, a little bit. First, she's got a wedding. Her daughter. Wait,
she does. So I don't think it's a big secret, but I don't think it's a big secret. But I think that you'll appreciate this. There's a certain person who is currently living on site
with her,
with the whole package, the whole suitcase arrived.
Okay. Wow. Oh, I'm calling her after this. I don't even screaming, but hallelujah.
Dude, that's what so I don't even remember what day this week has kind of all rolled together, but it sort of all merged at one moment.
Mama 100. We understand. Yes.
Dude, she played it like a boss, because when in high pressure, high emotional situations, it's a lot of strategy to be right. And that's, like it would be sometimes easy to wonder how any business can run successfully with people who haven't run businesses before. But when you have that level of strategic ability, then you can do damn near anything, like including run a family, but you can also run a business. If you can run a family, you can run a business, so
yes, you can.
So I think that it makes me so stoked to see her crushing it and all those. I felt the same way. That look on you, I knew you'd had that look on your face of like, no.
I didn't know. She didn't get a chance to tell me. Tell me, you probably. Well, she's probably watching. I can't act like I'm surprised. That's a blessing.
I couldn't not tell you because it is. It's like it's so critical to the people that love people, that when people have good things happen, like I think that's what it is.
And that's a real life dealing with domestic violence. I'm gonna tell you, that's what that joy looks like.
Yeah.
That's what that process looks like.
It's pretty.
So don't say you don't know, Trevor. You have a front row seat to some things, and you're going to be aware of that. So don't feel like you're out or don't have a right to speak. Your perspective is your perspective, and it needs to be heard and voiced.
I appreciate that.
Sharing. Don't feel like you're doing a heroic thing. You're on one side of you're on different sides. You just didn't know it, but you're also doing a heroic thing, increased in awareness. So how good is that?
I appreciate you saying that. That is definitely how I have tried to build my life in this sort of reiteration of myself in the past couple of years. That's why I painted my hair today. Like, I'm trying to make myself uncomfortable on purpose because I want to be uncomfortable on purpose, because sometimes conversations need to be uncomfortable to also move forward. So like, I want to continue to lean into things that make me squirm a little bit. And I want to lean into things that we don't talk about enough, but for all the wrong reasons. It's for some reason it's okay to be super hateful online, but we can't talk about things like domestic violence in an open forum, So I think it is, like you said, it's protecting our friends. It's protecting people who are us. Like, I see you as me, because we are trying to accomplish the same thing, I think, ultimately, which is to live a life that is hopefully not destructive to others and maybe meaningful to others. It's like, I think here's
the thing on that. You're making a valid point. What makes you feel it doesn't need to be talked about? Absolutely, on a platform before the Capitol, wherever it needs to be voiced about touching. Let's touch on something very sincere, a very real situation, that different layers to this. And it's human trafficking was spoken on the Capitol, in a conversation. And domestic violence needs to be, because that's essentially where it all the psychological, the mental side, and the spiritual, mental, and physical. That is a pattern. And under those patterns, there's different layers of the stages. It's nonverbal, verbal, and then the ones, how somebody looks at you, how they're treating you, how they're, keeping you to themselves, the different things. So you have a right to say that and put that out there to say, hey, this is another conversation we're going to take a deep dive on, because that's where it begins. We don't think we need to talk about it in this space. In every space, take a moment, purple it up.
Is there a color that represents awareness just for violence? Like, I thought when you were talking, I was really listening very deeply to what you said. And for a moment, I removed the word domestic in front of violence, because you were talking about the patterns and where the patterns are. So immediately, of course, my mind went to, in the case of domestic violence, it would very likely be correlated with aggressive and mental health and other things down the road. So when we think about like how we fix mass shootings, for instance, in this country, there are many, many things that we could approach, but I would absolutely see your cause at Purple It Up as not even like a little related, but like right next door to it.
Okay. I didn't want to cut you off, but I didn't want to forget the question that you put on the floor. So I'm getting smarter and smarter. I Google everything. If I don't have that top of my brain, I don't want to be wrong when we're dealing with statistics or scripture. So I'm going to sit here and Google. You know what I did? I said I typed in Google, violence awareness color. You know what color popped up? Purple. Since then, purple is universally used in almost all nonprofits that support survivors of domestic violence.
No.
Yep. It's the violence. That is, violence is domestic. But when I Google it, I said violence awareness color. I didn't put domestic violence, but that's what the Google said. It is purple, and I thought so, but I know there's sexual violence, so that's teal. There's different colors to it, but purple and your blues and reds, blue and red together makes purple. So that's why I was like, let me Google it, because that, you know, is something in a way all together. When you Googled it, did you see the same thing?
I think I did, but you know what I didn't find? Tell me if you found something different. I don't see one that just says violence awareness.
It's, well, I want to say I had a chart. Hold on.
I think I saw mostly what you saw, where it was a direct correlation with the domestic violence, but then there was like teen violence and other stuff. There's other subcategories of violence, but I didn't see anything that popped up for like an overall effort for violence in general, which I think is kind of interesting because as we talk about like mass shootings and other, like serious problems in this country.
Right. Gun violence, really hot right now, a hot topic.
So messed up. It's just so messed up. But yeah, I think that we have a really good foundation to explore questions like this, Veronica, because I think the question that you and I just stumbled into, I think that's a good thing for your cause in some ways, because now we'll do a little more digging, you and I, and let's see if we can't find out if there's any sort of other, let's say, national or federal guidance or organization that oversees a general scope of violence, because I wonder if that would help build a lot more momentum around domestic violence if we also included it in the larger picture, which is things like gun violence and things like sexual abuse, because those things are, you know better than I do because you know the numbers, but they're all super correlated, I think. So why wouldn't we look at them as one pandemic of bullshit that we need to stop?
Yep. Absolutely. And that's why having a conversation is so important. This point being brought up about awareness, breaking it down, getting the understanding, getting the detail down to the details. And the more we know, like, that's a good exercise for everybody that's on the call today. Google, that's the question of the day.
What's the question of the day?
The question of the day is there a color for violence, just violence? And what's your feedback? What did you, taking a look? That's causing people to look into what is it about the color, the meaning, the awareness, and how important is that? Because you'll find that just like the colors, how colors are, they're all part of one. It's not just one by itself. They all trend to the next color, making the color there. It's all tied. And that's the same correlation as, our humankind. We've got the same fiber. We got the same thread. And it's all connected. The same blood. Blood runs through everybody's veins. Air runs through everybody's lungs. There's a tie to all of that. And so taking a deep dive on that on our next time we Purple Up Live, to circle back to that and see what the feedback is.
Yeah, 100%. The question I threw in there just because I wanted to provoke people a little bit. I like to provoke. I wrote, what is violence and who protects us as a USA citizen against violence? You see what I did there?
Oh, I see.
So it's not just what is violence, but like what is violence and who protects us? Because that's the question that we're really asking, I think, is because I think Purple It Up and I think the movement around Purple as a raise awareness for domestic violence, that is a protection mechanism that is there to protect people and to help people. So I guess my question would be, when we look at violence as a whole, who is there to protect us? Because my initial instinct is that maybe, like, this sounds kind of crazy, right? But what if there was no body of governing or no awareness around violence as a whole? And then when people stop and look at overall violence, whether it's our conversation with domestic violence or any other type of violence, would you not stop and look at it and say, well, no kidding, if you don't have any effort around it?
Yeah, well, you said who protects. Luckily, we have a wonderful government that has people ordained and certified to protect, and that's our police officers. That's our firemen. That's, and then it becomes the medical field. Then it becomes that business, that teacher, teachers, firsthand dealing with situations. If they're trained and able to spot and see, they're reporting. Before the police are called, we take it all the way back before the authorities are called. It's you, and what you do in that moment matters. That's why 26 seconds. We're part of a community. We have a responsibility. The golden rule, and that's why I take it back. Before that police officer became something, that was a child at one point, growing up, and made that decision to go into that next level. But still, as a citizen, as a human being, no matter where you are in the world, you have a responsibility to do goodness and be goodness. And you learn from, before you hit first grade or kindergarten, you learn between good and bad. So that accountability, that's where it starts, and how important,
No, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
So it's us.
It is darn near impossible. But the thing, like you said today, is like, it's super random, but I got really into Malcolm X a few years ago when his biography. I didn't know anything about him, and I became pretty infatuated with the stuff he stood for. And one of the things that he stood for was like, in a lot of people in the civil rights movement and other rights movements in general. Right. So he took a unique approach, though. He was a unique guy, and he was also painted in a corner to be. Yeah, he was also painted in a corner. He was not treated well by the media, is what I've learned, because he was like almost never aggressive in public, and he was painted to be this wildly aggressive figure. And like, to find footage of him being aggressive is almost, I don't know that I've ever seen him be aggressive on video. And I've watched a lot of interviews with him. He's always calm, but it was because of all the things that it was. But it's such bullshit. Anyways, it's Malcolm X Day today. It's his birthday. He would have been 97. And so I think it's fun to celebrate, for me, just the existence of somebody who set an example like that, because that's somebody who, even 90 something years later, when I learned about that person had such a profound impact on me that it changed the way that I looked at darn near everything. And I think that it has helped to lead me to moments like meeting you and not knowing what to do about how I could help, because I didn't have money, but just saying, here's my house, what do you want to do? Because there's a time, and it's now. That's what I learned from him. There's a time, and it's now. It's not tomorrow. It's not in a year. It's now. Let's do it now.
Right. And
like, why do we have to adjust?
That is, you're living the life of an advocate. Here's my house. That's what I got. Let's go. That's where it started. Here's, it's not my house, but I got room.
You're renting this place, and it's got a few extra bedrooms. Do you want to come on over? I got a big building with a couple extra studios. Do whatever you want. Yeah.
Well,
Veronica,
that way
thank you so much for.
That way was coming.
I wanna let you have the last however long you want to reiterate anything that you want to reiterate, to throw any gratitude. I know you've had a lot of people that have been helping you out, so please take this moment, if you want to throw love to those people in your past and in your future. It's Friday somehow already here, so I just want to quickly thank my moms who have dealt with me not calling much lately. I'm very grateful on Mother's Day week that they are my moms, because I know they'll forgive me. It's been a crazy stressful week. But like, they are the reason that I get to do what I do. You know what I'm saying? In all the ways. And I'm very grateful that the stardust aligned for them. And then since then, the stardust mostly aligns for me. And I'm very, very grateful for that. Because moments like this are like, it's just like the right way to have a day, is when if you get to have one conversation like you and I have gotten to have today. I feel like that's all you need to live for, right?
Right. And gratefulness. Right? Yes. Adding gratefulness. and you're
I'll turn
getting
it over to
it.
you. I'm so grateful to
Well,
you, and I'll cut us when you tell me to cut us.
okay. Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you, Trevor. And I appreciate you and Bree so much for jumping out here and doing exactly what needs to be done for Purple Up, getting out there, making that 26 seconds matter even the more in increasing awareness for domestic violence. So you Purple Up for domestic violence awareness, knowing that we didn't have all the answers to some of the things that need to be done. We're learning, we're doing better and better about putting it out there and increasing awareness. And it's very a heroic action to say, I'm gonna stop my day and give this hour, sometimes more than an hour, hour and a half, to lift up this banner of love for Purple Up and have Purple Hope Fridays. And I thank you for the inspiration and reminding me and encouraging me to keep going no matter what it looks like. And I'm so thankful for Chris and Katie that met me back in 2010 and not knowing that I was surviving domestic violence and gave me that hope what it is to have family and relationship, love relationship happen and family grow and meeting more in the community and not letting my story stop me, but empower me all the more. I'm thankful for the individuals that have came along and stood along with them to help us Purple Up the PodFest Multimedia Expo, PodFam, our PodFam family. I'm very grateful. Wonderful teams there that are always just listening and seeing what can be done and ask me what do I need and for me to be able to answer, you know, I don't know, it's kind of a lot, but it doesn't matter. Just knowing that they do care about my voice and everyone that has stood with me to show me over and over again my voice matters, because for me that was the number one thing that really got to me when I really looked and I did my homework. I stayed compliant as I survived domestic violence, and I was not being helped because who I was, and my voice was silenced to make it like it didn't matter. And until I got here to the Tampa Bay area, it totally changed. And meeting more family, people that are family to me. My parents are going on to glory, and then unfortunately went through domestic violence after that. And I look at that how vulnerable I was, and I thank God for my parents raising me up in a Christian home and understanding what it means to self-love and self-care and having confidence and self-esteem to get through anything, because I believe, Jesus even died on the cross for that, for what I went through. And knowing that on the other side of that, we have a promise, we have a covenant that we can be righteous. It's not about being perfect or having an ideal life. Grew up, I wouldn't say our family was rich, but it's not about what we had, it's what we did, and what we did mostly for the community. My mom was a huge community mom. When she got the cooking in the kitchen, everybody came running because the fried chicken had people today. A lady you will get to meet that known me for over 30 years. She was one of those, my sister's friend from college. She used to come home and she'll never forget how she saw people coming out everywhere because my mom was in the kitchen and they knew she was cooking. It's time to eat. But the love there, the community, and I'm just so thankful for this community that's surrounding me and lifted me up to where I know it's about taking strides, being confident in the follow through, and I have more to do. And it's not because it's a light that I'm not trying to put out. I'm just trying to be obedient and follow every step to make sure that one doesn't get looked over or passed by like, oh, they'll make it. No, if you see someone going through or you have it in your gut, stop and say you care. And I don't have all the answers, but we know who we can get help. We know how to get help. And that's what we want to encourage. Simplest thing makes a difference in someone's life. And then all the people that have supported anyway. I know Amy, she told me the backstory. She actually double ordered, and I called her today and I said, well, I just want to make sure if you want another kind of shirt, I'm gonna send you another shirt. And she was like, yeah, whatever, I just wanted to do what I can and support. And we're gonna have more of a conversation about relating podcast to podcast and different stuff that we're doing. But it was neat. The love and the compassion. Be encouraged to be that for someone. And it was Mother's Day, and being that my mom is in glory, lifting up other moms in the community is something special that I like to do in her honor. And I'm so thankful for my mom, Eva Life, my dad, Thaddeus Life. He's also in glory. So Mother's Day, Father's Day, this time of the year is very sensitive because my parents' birthdays were on the 5th and 10th, and they're both in glory. So Mother's Day, Father's Day. And then on my birthday, my dad passed away on my birthday. So, and he wanted to be there. And, the last thing he got to say to me, and he, with all his strength, said, I love you. And that was it. He was gone on to glory. And I'll never forget what he did, took the time. And so when you take time, and you took time with me, whether by phone or at Podfest or in this Purple Up Live, I appreciate you because you're answering back on many levels that I needed. When I survived, I didn't have that. And growing up, I was the one that didn't have the particulars as the baby girl should have. And it means a lot to me when you step in the water with me and help turn this color up in ways and thinking, being thoughtful. I appreciate everyone that has been so thoughtful for me and for Purple Up and for the victims of domestic violence and seeing a difference. And I'm just honored, and I thank you for all that you're doing and where you are. And just keep in mind to purple it up. Yes, many heart smiles.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing that. Your stories are so impactful and so helpful because they help us all relate to you. You have survived domestic violence, and you are just like everyone else. You are not different in any way than every other human that walks the face of the earth, which is to say that you are worthy of all the love and support you get, and also you are worthy of love and support. And I'm just happy to be in your world at all, and also crushed that it wasn't there for you. So I hope that anything that we do together helps that not be the case for another person. But yeah, it's been a very hopeful day. I feel all the hope. I feel all of the love. And as Bree says before she lets us leave, be good to yourself, be good to others, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Veronica.
You're welcome. And purple it up. Love y'all.
Purple it up.
Yes.